Assalamualaikum. I am Tasneem Hassan Shimanto, currently studying in Computer Science and Engineering Department SUST. And today I want to show you something. It's my presentation, and the presentation is on macroeconomics. Today we are going to talk about macroeconomics, how economies function on a large scale, what drives growth, and how policies shape our daily lives. Let's dive in and explore how macroeconomics impacts the world around us. That's my group, and I'm currently in group 5B, and I am Tasneem Hassan Shimanto, group coordinator, and these are my teammates. Okay, so first I want to talk to you about Introduction to Macroeconomics. This presentation introduces the fundamental concepts of macroeconomics, a critical field for understanding the overall performance and behavior of economics. We'll explore key macroeconomic activities, objectives, indicators, and equilibrium, providing a framework for analyzing economic phenomena at regional, national, and global levels. A discussion will cover the instruments used to achieve macroeconomic goals, such as monetary and fiscal policy, and delve into specific indicators to write national income, unemployment rate, and inflation rate. We'll also discuss the concept of unemployment, price stability, inflation, unemployment trade-off. Join us as we delve into the complexities of microeconomics. Macroeconomic activities and objectives. So, if I focus on the macroeconomics part, macroeconomics examines the overall performance, structure, behavior, and decision making of an entire economy. It analyzes factors such as interest rates, taxation, and government spending, assessing their impact on economic growth and stability. Key indicators include inflation, economic growth rates, and unemployment trends. If I saved objectives of macroeconomics, it will be GDP, unemployment reduction, and price stability. These are the main objectives of macroeconomics. There are specifically two main instruments of macroeconomic policy. These are monetary policy and fiscal policy. Monetary policy manages the money supply and credit conditions, typically administered by a central bank. It is crucial for adjusting aggregate demand and controlling inflation. If I talk about fiscal policy employs government spending, taxation, and borrowing to influence economic activity. Governments use fiscal policy to promote stable and sustainable growth. Now, if we look at the major macroeconomics indicators, they are our national income, which may refer to GDP and GNP. Then we have unemployment rate. We want to eradicate this rate and we want people to be employed. Then we have inflation rate. Now let us understand the macroeconomic equilibrium. Here we have two things: aggregate demand, which is referred to AD, and there's aggregate supply. Aggregate demand is the total demand for all finished goods and services in an economy, expressed as the total amount of money exchanged for those goods at a specific price level. This contains consumer spending, investment spending, government spending, net exports. And we have aggregate supply. And aggregate supply represents the total quantity of goods and services that firms are willing to supply at different price levels. In short run, the aggregate supply curve is upward sloping, while in the long run it is vertical. The graph you are seeing, it represents the Keynesian cross diagram. On the x-axis we have income, which can be said be output, and in the y-axis we have aggregate expenditure. We see two lines are intersecting a point. That point we're calling it equilibrium. Okay, the 45-degree line plots the points where output, income and expenditure are equal. It is known as the line of absolute equity. The AE line, that is aggregate expenditure line, indicates the amount of spending undertaken by the economy at different levels of income. And now let's jump into our next topic, that is unemployment. This single problem is one of the biggest problems of our country right now. Let's talk about this. If you look into the concept of unemployment, there are three types: frictional unemployment, structural unemployment, and cyclical unemployment. Frictional one is temporary unemployment due to workers transitioning between jobs. It's a normal part of a healthy economy. If you look into structural unemployment, long-term unemployment due to market conditions, declining in certain industries or skills mismatch, lasts longer than frictional unemployment. And if you look into cyclical unemployment, unemployment caused by downturns in the business cycle, demand for goods and service declines, forcing companies to lay off workers. Next, we're gonna know about price stability and inflation. So, if we focus on inflation, there is low inflation, galloping inflation, and hyperinflation. The low inflation, prices rise slowly, benefiting economic growth 0 to 9%. In galloping inflation, high inflation that can be damaging to the economy, 10 to 99%. And in a hyperinflation, prices skyrocket rapidly, over 50% per month. It's rare but very disruptive. Here we're gonna see the inflation unemployment trade-off. This is basically SRPC, LRPC, and trade-off. We're gonna talk about these three topics. The SRPC means the short run Phillips curve. LRPC means the long run Phillips curve. The SRPC, the short run Phillips curve, illustrates that increased unemployment leads to greater inflation. LRPC, which means the long run Phillips curve, posits that no trade-off exists in the long run. LRPC is vertical at the natural rate of unemployment. If we focus on the trade-off attempts to lower unemployment beyond the natural rate can lead to rising inflation without long-term benefits. So we are basically understanding the interplay between inflation and unemployment is crucial for effective macroeconomic policy making. We have to understand that pretty much. And if we actually understand it, next we're gonna see a diagram or a figure to understand the SRPC and LRPC better. If you look in this diagram, on the x-axis we get unemployment rate, and on the y-axis we get inflation rate. And look carefully that LRPC and SRPC both are present in the graph. Okay, so as we can see, the KY points are the points where the SRPC slope is intersected with respect to the y-axis, which indicates some things. We're gonna look through it. We're gonna find out what. And that wraps up my presentation. I hope I was able to give you a clear understanding of the key concepts. If you have any questions, whether it's about something I covered or anything related to the topic, I'd be happy to answer them. Just feel free to ask, no problems. So, thank you for watching and goodbye. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.